All right, let's dive into something kind of puzzling that's coming out of the 2025 Taiwan Industry AI Survey. You know, everyone is talking about AI, right? But it turns out there's this huge gap between all the hype and what's actually happening on the ground. So, let's dig in.
And this is the big question, isn't it? With all the noise, all the investment, why are so many companies in Taiwan just stuck? They know they need to get on board with AI, but for some reason they just can't seem to get any real traction. What's really holding them back?
Just let that number sink in for a second. 70%. That means 7 out of every 10 companies are basically stalled out before their AI journey has even really started. They're stuck in the driveway, watching everyone else merge onto the highway.
So here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to map out what we're calling this implementation chasm to really understand why so many are stuck. And then, we're going to look at the blueprint for building a bridge to get to the other side. And it's all based on the new AI implementation guide.
Okay, first things first, let's diagnose the problem. The data shows this really clear paradox. AI awareness is at an all-time high, but the number of companies actually doing anything with it is lagging, big time.
Now, check out this chart from the survey. It tells a pretty stark story. See that growing bar for conscious AI? That means more companies are aware of AI's potential, which is great. But, and this is the important part, look at the other bars. The number of firms that are actually ready to start or are already scaling their AI projects? Totally flat. They just aren't moving forward.
And this table? Oh man, it lays the imbalance out perfectly. Companies are getting better with the tech itself. That scores a 47 and growing. But that progress is completely useless because their business strategy and talent development are stuck way down in the low 30s. It's like having a brand new Ferrari engine, but no steering wheel and no map. You've got all this power, but you're just not going anywhere.
So what are the biggest roadblocks? Well, the survey points to these top 3. First, companies can't find people with the right skills. Second, their data is a complete mess. It's all over the place and not connected. And third, it's just really hard to prove the return on investment, which makes bosses nervous about spending the money.
This quote from Ye Fuhai absolutely hits the nail on the head. So many people make the mistake of thinking AI is just another IT project you hand off to the tech team, but it's not. It's a fundamental business transformation. You have to rethink your processes, your people, and how you manage your most important asset, your data. Okay, so we've seen the symptoms. Now let's really get into the nitty-gritty. It's time to properly map out this chasm and look at the deep-rooted causes behind this disconnect between strategy, talent, and technology. You know, it really boils down to these 3 things. The strategy is fuzzy, so nobody really knows why they're even doing AI. There's a misunderstanding of what kind of talent they need, so they don't know who to hire. And there's a ton of confusion about the technology, so they don't know what tools to use, which can lead to some pretty big risks.
And here's a perfect example of that tech confusion. The whole cloud AI versus on-device AI thing. So imagine a smart factory. If you're using a cloud service, you might be sending sensitive production data, your company's secret sauce, to an outside server. That's a huge privacy and security risk. But with on-device AI, all that data stays local, right there on the machine. It's faster, cheaper, and way, way more secure. It's a critical difference that a lot of people are missing.
And like Lu Sitai points out here, this isn't just some tech nerd detail. This is a massive strategic opportunity. Taiwan's whole industrial identity is built on making world-class hardware and devices. By focusing on on-device AI, Taiwan can play to its biggest strength, putting the intelligence right into the things it already builds better than anyone else.
All right, so we've stared into the chasm. We know why it's there. The good news? We don't have to stay stuck. The Artificial Intelligence Foundation has actually drawn up a blueprint for a bridge, and it's called the AI Implementation Guide. Let's see what it's all about. So the guide's framework is built on these 5 key pillars. You need good data, the right compute power, the correct technology, strong governance to manage it all, and a culture of innovation. But, and this is so important, underpinning all of that is the foundation of trust. Because if it's not secure, if it's not private, if it's not reliable, none of the other stuff matters.
What's really cool is the guide band gives you a clear roadmap to follow. It helps you figure out exactly where your company is right now, whether you're at the unknowing stage or all the way up to scaling. And it tells you exactly what you need to do to get to the next level. It's not some vague goal anymore. It's a step-by-step path forward.
So, the theory is great, but how does a company actually take those first steps across the bridge?
Well, the guide offers some really clear, super practical advice for just getting started.
The key here is to just take it one step at a time. Don't try to boil the ocean. Start small with one single project to prove that it can work. And make sure that project solves a real business problem. Get your data cleaned up first. That's the foundation for everything. Build your own team skills. Don't just rely on buying fancy tools. And probably most important, remember to be patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay, as we start to wrap this up, let's focus on the single most important takeaway for any business leader watching this. If you only remember one thing, please make it this. This quote from Zhao Xingrong just says it all. You don't do AI just to say you're doing AI. That's not the goal. The goal is to make your business stronger, more resilient, and more competitive. AI is just an incredibly powerful tool to help you get there. So use it with purpose. Use it to strengthen the very core of your business.
And that really brings it all back to you, doesn't it? You've seen the map of AI maturity, from unknowing to scaling. You've seen the chasm, and you've seen the blueprint for the bridge. So take a good hard look at your own company. Where are you standing on that map right now? And more importantly, what's the very next step you're going to take to move forward?